Alright, hello everybody, this is Demon coming back for another round of Final Fantasy XIV. So, before I actually get to that point, there's probably going to be a small jump cut. I'm just going to say it, there's probably going to be a jump cut. Now to start Shadowbringers up. Two things are going to happen. I'm actually going to start this up, but I'm going to make a two-parter. I only want to get this thing started and then we'll come back to it at a later date. Might have some time tomorrow, might not, but I wanted to start talking to everybody and getting this part started, so let's talk about Fortnite. Afraid there's still no change in sound's condition. It means to wake them from the slumber yet eludes us. I pray this beacon at the Crystal Tower might guide us to an answer. Grandfather doubts his ability to contribute to silence, and try as I might, I cannot sound his doubts. Would that Homel was here, he would know what to say. Everyone labored silently to fill Sion's duties in their absence, and yet sometimes I wonder what worth remains in these old bones of mine. Do something. Quit being a Debbie Downer. The more Debbie Downer you are, the worse it is. I thought things could get any worse. When the Garleans were gearing up for war, the word reached me the Sions were in trouble. We need to find that beacon and find it quick. Our brothers and sisters have fallen, 'tis true, but duty will not afford us time to wallow in misery. Till they return to us, we must work twice as hard. In light of the present condition of the Sions, even Rael has returned from a field. There has been a greater need to marshal our resources. Brother says he will work twice as hard in Sion's stead, which likely means I must work thrice as hard if I'm to match his pace. Damn straight. I never realized how critical a role that the Archons play in all we do here. It won't be easy to make up for their absence. Ain't worried about Sions. Osha, my sister, and I have been keeping over them in shifts ever since they arrived at the Rising Stones. If only they would give us some sign of stirring. I don't feel like that's how. Did we talk to her? My press silence, even Rael has returned from the field. Never has there been a greater need to marshal our resources. Oh, I thought we did. Let's talk to Tataru. Good news, Hydaelyn. We've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon. Apparently our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down in the hollows around the base of the Crystal Tower. Good. A path that I doubt ever been found had the ironworks and the suns not added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we have eager eyes aplenty down there, checking under rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, it sounds like there's a lot of ground to cover. We better get going and give them a hand. Sounds like tedious work, but as tedious as waiting around, I suppose. Well, we better give them a hand. My thoughts exactly. The sooner we find this beacon, the sooner you can travel to wherever this mysterious voice is calling from. And the sooner we can work out how to help our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up, and before the Empire comes calling again. Meanwhile, we have no time to lose. Let's do this. There's a boat in Nor Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the site, so let's be on our way. Oof. Oh yeah, what was that? I remember having this issue. I couldn't remember which one I switched this to. Actually, I think I remembered and then I forgot. Wait a minute, I do remember this. Oh yeah, I didn't have facepalm there. Let me switch that while we go. I was actually looking at this and I couldn't remember which one I switched it to. That's the one I was missing. That actually really irritated me the one time. Like, when I was off screen one time, I was like, wait a minute, I had an emote on here I got rid of and accidentally deleted like a moron. And then when I went back on here, I couldn't remember it, but then all of a sudden it came to me. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I remember which one I couldn't remember to do. Actually, wait a minute, I'm actually really surprised I freaking remembered that. My brain does not work right. I hate my brain. Heading survey site, madam? It's on the eastern shore of the lake, and the swiftest way to get there is by boat. Archons need our help. Next to that, even matters of the heart don't seem to matter. Detecting no slavery beasts in the vicinity, my sister accepted. Oh. I was out in the forest messing with Garlean doors. She just talked crap about her sister. Damn. Towering edifice on the outer wall of the Tyrstall's foundation. Labyrinth of the Ancients, to be precise. It weighs heavily upon me. 'Tis little wonder, I suppose, we're still standing in the shadow of such an opposing structure. Ari, what up? Hydaelyn, the search continues, but I have no doubt we shall find this beacon of yours. Everybody's working together. Awesome.
Look how many people there are! Should we get to it then? Pick up anything that seems the least bit device-like, and we'll make ourselves a pile.
Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour, maybe you'll change our look. We've found bugger all without you.
Biggs! Wedge!
Our boys! Missed our boys.
Aye, aye. Well, we could hardly say no to a call for aid from the Scions.
I know, I love that accent.
Jesse called the chief of some other business, so we'll be working twice as hard to make up for his not being here.
Thrice as hard, even.
Thank you, both of you. I'm sure we'll find that beacon in no time.
I'm not seeing anything out here. Do you reckon you could squeeze in there, Wedge?
And get stuck halfway? No, thank you.
I could try if you like.
Tataru, no! We couldn't ask you to do that.
Oh, I'll be fine. This receptionist is not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Probably kick Wedge's ass. I really wish your character could run that way. That'd be cool. I don't mind it being in the cutscenes, though.
Sorry, I meant to say, the scholars haven't finished their preliminary assessment of the site yet, so we're not supposed to venture too far in. What's that you got there? Now that looks promising.
Isn't that the Ironworks symbol? Counterfeiters?
Now I have you.
You are right.
What's happening?
Stay with me. Focus on my voice.
Do I really have to?
Let expanse contract. Eon become instant.
Wait, this must be it. The device. Oh, this is supposed to happen.
Throw wide the gates that we may pass.
Yeah, let me hand it to you, Tataru. You can deal with this headache.
Safe journey, warrior of light. Find our friends and bring them home.
Can do. Let's do it. Oh, where the hell are we at? This place is weird. Is this Jesus? Jesus Land. I love Jesus Land. I think Jesus is pissed. Like, why are you in my realm? Yay, flying Jesus. What the hell?
The dawn's light will shine again.
Oh, do not look at me so.
You're slaves to a tyrant. There's no freedom in that.
This is one battle you cannot fight.
Away with you!
That was this.
We did everything right! Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this!
No, we didn't save him. Misphilia, what the hell? Oh, that's Misphilia. Hey, only I can
Your
defeat
time
this.
has not yet come.
Hey, only I'm allowed to beat Jesus. Ooh, look at the glowing crap. Why the hell is everything white? It's like I'm in one of those, what is it, that reverse negatives? First negatives? I forget what they are. Negatives or positives? I don't know. It's something to do with film. Where is this supposed to be? Let's see. See what appears to be heavy armor and a fun-looking axe. Color white. Oh, there we are. Ooh, everything's pink. It's like Jesus is angry. Oh, hell no.
From endless dreams I awake. Something vague, yet urgent, calls me to action once more.
Why the hell does he have a fire? Cooking something? Bacon, chicken wings. So fat. Hi, bro.
Rare to meet someone out here who's not a peddler themselves. What brings you into the wilds this time of night?
Why is this guy with the accent the one smoking a pipe? Time of night. It's bright as day. What do you mean by this time of night? It's freaking daylight.
Well, if it ain't the oldest joke in the book. Me granddad, God's rest his soul, used to tell that one to the barman at kicking out time. And when, pray tell, did we last have a dark night? You rotten old drunk, you, he'd reply. Yeah. Over 100 bleeding years ago, that's when.
It's been 100 years and you've not known darkness?
You got that look down to a T. I'd almost think you meant it. Ah, got to you, did they? Poor beggar. That explains it then.
So weird situations where, well, I guess I can't really support your character drinking
I've
it.
roads to travel and wares to sell, but you'd best hurry along to the town nearby.
Nice chocobo.
Just head east through the trees and aim for the shining tower. You'll find the place soon enough. 'Tis the biggest settlement for malms around. Go on now, friend. They'll take good care of you in the Crystarium.
Square Enix, I swear to God, I'm not trying to steal your music. I love the music. Trust me, I love it. Please, don't get me in trouble. Please, Jesus. I want to die.
To dizzying heights it rises. The gleaming spire. Its tip threatening to pierce the blinding canopy. There, it will all begin anew. Between dark and light, the pure and the corrupt, the one true struggle.
Ooh, Shadowbringers. I love Shadowbringers. Alright, before we start, many of you are probably wondering, Demon, what is with this outfit? Perfectly the same. Change the hairstyle, though. Had this idea, thought it'd be kinda cool. I figured we're going into Shadowbringers. I figured we're going from the first, and from everything being normal, I figured, what the hell, I tried my damnedest to keep the hair, like the highlight bit, to be as close to it as possible for the old hairstyle, but yeah, I figured black would work out here. Let's go ahead and run through this. Like I said before, you guys were going to get a jump cut. The jump cut happened during the first white spell at Minfilia. I actually stopped recording, deleted my New Game Plus, and then started again. Doesn't actually take that long to get to this point. I mean, it's literally the beginning of the game. Besides, I thought it was a good idea to do this for quite some time. I was actually, I think I thought about it back during. I don't know if I had completed Realm Reborn, but I might have been in Heaven's Ward when I thought about it. I was like, you know what, this would be kind of neat to do. Change things up a little bit. Although this outfit ain't changing. I'm not lying. I like this outfit too much. Till I find a new one. That's going to require Square Enix to give me something good.
Halt!
Yes, Bunny Rabbit? You have white hair. How old are you?
Every face in this city I know. Yours, I do not. This is the threshold of the Crystarium, stranger, and I am its gatekeeper. If you would enter, you will answer my questions.
Okay. What do you want?
From where do you hail?
Gridania, the source, don't answer. I mean, Gridania's not wrong, the source ain't wrong. Well, I mean, I'll just say the source.
The source? What is this cryptic nonsense? Had you given me an honest answer, I would not have barred your way. We care little here for a person's place of origin. But instead, you chose concealment. And I will not suffer you to pass.
Concealment? How do you know that's concealment? I'm telling you the truth. Oh no. Is that a piglet? Flying piglet. Hey, look, a ring.
That one had eaten. It must have gulped down the whole hand. Ring and all.
Oh no, I know who that ring belongs to. They killed our friend. They killed the Irishman. His legs go through that
Everything
rope.
all right, Captain?
I know you. You're the little bastard who took all our friends.
Quite all right, my lord. Just a stray sin eater, and a weak one at that.
I see. Weak or not, we should be on the lookout for more. But I see you've met my guest. I will escort her to the Crystarium myself, if you've no objections.
Another of your mysterious friends, is it? I should have known. Very well. I'll inform the others your guest is to be given the run of the city. Pray forgive my less than cordial welcome. May the rest of your stay with us be a pleasant one.
Come with me. I will answer whatever questions you have when we are somewhere more private.
As you can clearly see, I'm dressed for business. Not perfect, but here and there.
Right then, before we plunge into the wheres and wherefores, let me first thank you for answering my summons. I had intended to bring you directly to my personal quarters, but I fear my aim was slightly off. That you are still able to make the crossing unharmed is a great relief.
Can you tell me?
And so, we come to the question of where. The realm in which you now find yourself belongs to one of the 13 reflections, or shards. The first, to be precise, even if its inhabitants are largely oblivious to the fact. As to wherefore, having been awarded the rather grandiose title of Crystal Exarch, I, in my capacity as caretaker of the Crystarium, thought to seek the aid of you and your companions.
Are the Ascians here? Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused? Well, I'm looking for the other Scions.
Ah, that is a question with no simple answer. But all shall be explained in due course, I promise you. Let us begin with the glaring skies up above. Here in the first, the world has been all but consumed by primordial light. It began a century ago, by this realm's reckoning. A luminous flood swallowing everything in its path. More than 9/10 of this star was lost. And the fortunate few who survived are hounded by abominations born of that catastrophe even now. Sin Eaters, we call them. The creature you saw earlier was one such monstrosity. It was to save the first from this menace that I learned to bridge the rift between worlds. That I might call upon the aid of the greatest of heroes. And though it meant depriving a world of its champion, I had to try, for in saving the first, you would bring salvation to the source as well.
Oh.
But what manner of host harangues his guests in the middle of the road? Let us continue our talk within the Crystarium.
Look at that. Coming into view, 3, 2, 1.
Such a proud and vibrant city. the sole sanctuary for the living in a world all but resigned to oblivion. Each stone was laid with hope, the town itself a symbol, a monument to defiance in the face of death. No would-be hero could fail to answer its call. For who among us does not yearn for salvation?
Oh, the Crystarium. Neat. That's why when I clicked this little thing, I said, don't worry about that. It's coming up soon. Because I'm actually attuned to come back to this place all the time, so it's pretty neat. And here we are. Welcome, my friend, to the Crystarium. Now, a full and frank discussion in privacy of my study would seem to be in order. I think our conversation would be more meaningful were you first to gain a firmer grasp of the situation here. Then, I would like you to visit a few of the Crystarium's civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. As you can see in this path to Aetheryte, a convenience which I am sure you are only too familiar with. Being the rightful object of my summoning spell, you should, in theory, be able to reach all the way back along the etheric trail and find a connection in the source, believe it or not. I strongly suggest you complete this attunement before venturing any further. 100% he is correct, Toon. After you've done so, walk up the steps next to the Aetheryte and head out to the left to the arrive in the crystalline mean. This is where you'll find our collective of crafters and gatherers, as well as their spokesman, Catless, one of the people I should like you to meet. There's more to reach him and his cabinet of curiosity. You'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps, take the exit on the left, and simply continue straight along and down until you come to the large doors at the end of the path. Then go up a set of stairs and magically you're there. I didn't say that. And the third and final person I'd like you to meet is Brage, our man in charge of trade and distribution. He is to be found in the markets which you can access from the opposite side of the Aetheryte Plaza. In seeking out each of my colleagues, you will visit the major districts of the city, hopefully gain a feel for the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Crystal clear. Very good. I can see the layout of Crystarium owes more to historical necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. That much is assured. In all honesty, the true challenge may be finding the right way to approach citizens. I discovered during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. That being the case, when they ask whence you hail, as they inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share homeland with the Crystal XR. There is an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. When you finish making the rounds, pray meet me in the large courtyard at the center of town. Till then. Alright, time to run through this. Ah, how nice to be back in Crystarium. I gotta say this much. This is good. I'm already attuned to this. Oh, it's gonna make me attuned again. God damn it. My folks sensed you have to flow vastly different, distant currents of your ether. Your connection to these energies is faint but stable. You should allow teleportation to Aetherites in the source. Oh good, I didn't put my hand out. But yes, as it sits there and states, the moment you do that, there is connections. It sits there and says faint. Which means you can freely travel from the Crystarium back into the source to do stuff. I think that's something I actually don't wish I could leave it until I beat this out. That actually would have been more cool, or come up with a different method. But I understand why they let people go back and forth. It's because if I don't let you leave this area until you beat all of Shadowbringers, at least the first, what is it, 2 or 3? I don't remember how many parts you gotta beat. I mean, then it's kind of like if there's stuff going on in the source, you couldn't leave, and that sucks. Except for me. I really don't do too much. Works out. Ah, your place so well stocked with goods, isn't it? But not here. Going to guess you're you're new to our fair city. Well, for that, what it's worth, you've chosen a fine sanctuary. The Exarch can throw up a barrier if the Sin Eaters come knocking, so it's a damn sight safer in here than it is out there. Safer and more civilized too. Thanks to us in the mean, we work together to procure materials and resources and craft the goods which make city life possible. This is the place to visit if you need a coat mended or kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll be all handed to you on a plate like those, Omaran layabouts. Here in Crystarium, we work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labor, you don't have that whiff of indolence about you like some folk I've met. Still, I can't quite pin down your profession. Where you're from? One of the Exarch's countrymen, you say. I see. Well then, I'll work twice as hard to make you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him, and any friend of his is a friend of ours. Really quite incredible when you think about it. They say that his grand magics summoned the Crystal Tower into existence, pulled the entire thing out of thin air. Wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, desperate for shelter after losing their homes to the flood. That's how the Crystarium began. At the Exarch's invitation, buildings started going up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. City stood here for decades now, yet the oldest among us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. He's indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy, he has never yet let us down. So if he and you wish to remain silent about your shared homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish for privacy. I have more than a little curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you ought to contribute on the front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had a chance to settle in. Just as for Catless, and I'll find you a niche here in the crystalline mean. You can help us keep the cogs of the city greased and turning. Stranger Catalyst taught you about the life in the Crystarium. Now, I'm not somebody who's going to sit there and say it, but there's a node right here. Has anybody else noticed this node? Well, I can't actually talk to it, but it looks strangely familiar like the one in Ozzy's Law that the Allag had. What is it? The Allag? I don't remember, whatever that empire was. So, it's quite strange, so it kind of gives you an idea that maybe the Crystal Tower has some type of ties with Allag. So, and the Exarch has control of it. Strange, weird, smells weird, don't like it. But, unfortunately, there is... Well, I probably should get it off right now. There is some story you guys aren't going to see. I might do a side thing with it later. Depending on how I feel, that's under New Game Plus. But, it kind of gives you more of a background for this, especially with the Crystal Tower and its influence. Like, I originally played Realm Reborn, and I think Heaven's Word was out at the time, and I did do some of those, and I must have did all the missions, because I had certain things done, which was really strange at the time, because I had not known that I had done them. And when I actually played this for the first time, I was like, oh, wait a minute, so if I hadn't done those things, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now? And it's just like, basically it's a big old, yeah, I'm just like, crap, that's actually kind of cool. Excuse me, miss, are you recently come to the city perchance? I'm quite familiar with our civic roles, you see, and well, ahem. What I mean to ask is, have you brought any books with you? A rumpled scroll even? A scrap of scribbled on parchment? Really? Apologies, literature is something of a session of mine, as well as a profession. Librarian Morin at your service, and this humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity. As your powers of possession have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manners of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. As horrific as the loss of life and land wrought by the flood unquestionably was, the damage to recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We few do all we can to preserve what wisdom survived. But tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today, looking for any title in particular, maybe a spot of academic research? Oh, so you're interested in modern history. Splendid. A thorough review of our recent events can often yield novel perspectives. I quite agree. If you would prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have an illustrated history book for children somewhere. Just a moment, I'll fetch it. Did he just say he gonna get me a children's book? Bitch, please. Unless it has cutouts, then we're not okay with this. Here we are. Would you like to pull a chair? Make yourself more comfortable. What was the lesson then? Give me a children's book. Bite my shiny metal ass. Here's my character, pale ass. 100 years ago, or near enough not to matter, villains known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadowkeeper, the Steward of Darkness. Villains? Warriors of Light? They saw the Warriors of Light as villains? Wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as from unseen cracks. It pooled and swelled without cease, till a day an enormous blinding wave rose up and swept across our star. We called this calamity the Flood of Light. Everything it touched was leached of life and vigor, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. Yet just when it seemed that all would be lost, the Savior appeared before. The Oracle of Light, she stood twixt an approaching doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Norvant, and Norvant alone spared the fate of Asia. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. I didn't see the word fully. Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. From the blasted emptiness descended horrors of strange and terrible aspect to bedevil the few folk who survived. These sin-eaters were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the night from Norvant's sky. Even now, they circle the remaining bastions of civilization, even on the hunt for us, or ever on the hunt for us. Ever hungering for our flesh. And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear the tale again, I would be glad to retell it for you. Or if you'd rather I speak of other matters, that too would be my pleasure. I should be glad of the company. Exchange with more nostalgia about the Flood of Light. So, from what we understand, is they talk about the Oracle and how she stopped it. The problem is that we know for a fact it had to have been Ophelia because we seen her in that one shard, and it gave us an idea it was her who stopped it. It's really strange. She was able to stop the flood. Although it's really strange if you think about it, because if the light was encompassing the whole star or globe as we know it, it would have been coming in from other directions, so just because she stopped it on one side probably doesn't mean she stopped it on the other side. So that's just me, I'm just saying that out loud. You take that with a grain of salt. In this day and age, salt's bad for you. It's also good for you, unless you get pissy. Wow, somebody really went all out for that Y'shtola outfit. Besides that, I do find it really strange because it's just like they talk about how they lost access to a large sum of their history. I'll probably get more to it at some point. Probably towards the end of the episode, because there's a lot to get divulge into this. Delve into it, whatever word you want to use. I don't care. New to the city, friend? That spinning head and white eyes gives you away. Welcome, my name is Bragi, and I'm the master of these markets. I gave the district another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it, too florid by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for Mistle, such as yourself, so finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. A Mistle? Sorry, did you say Mistle? Well, I'm actually a Makota. I am gonna say that. That's what my character is. Must be a dialect I'm not familiar with. Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in the front of us? The shorter one is a hewn. The taller one is an elf. Sturdy individual there is a Gulgent, while the one with the horns is drawn. Or a drain. I call it a drawn. And then when you see have large scaly chats, long tails, and a knack for raising livestock, those would be the Zune. We know is the Almajar. Well, at least the peoples. Apparently not the name you know them by. Now I'm curious to know which far-flung region you hail from. Same as the XRC? Well, that explains it. Don't get much further flung than that. We had a few of your lot pass through in recent years. Despite their obvious learning, they floundered over the simplest things. But not to worry, should you find yourself confused by the local language or customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. Your exchange with Brian taught you about the peoples of the first. But to continue on where we were at, I'm just going to go for the long, slow walk to get where we're going. I do kind of think it's strange, like with the past guy we're talking to that was in the bookkeeper. Like, they sit there and discuss, like, he lost a lot of their history. Like, I think about that nowadays. It's like, we've lost a lot of history. We don't know what happened during the time of the Romans, something went on before the Romans. There is a lot of lost history, and these guys have an even larger impact because they can't even get access to the areas where that history's at. So it's really a matter of whatever they were able to save written works-wise is what they have left. It's really weird, but it's humbling at the same time because it's just so awkward. Well, how did you fare? Did my colleagues help you form a clear picture of this world and its people? Yes. But yeah, I find this one to be the coolest because, I don't know, I like the history aspects. Yes, it seems you were treated to a most thorough introduction. I understand it was something of a chore, but it was necessary that you grasp these things before we proceed. As for the Crystal Tower's origins, you may have noted that the details were sparse. The structure is, in fact, the self-same one you know from the source, transported to the first in its entirety. It's my first attempt at breaching the boundaries between worlds, something which I'll run for your eventual crossing. And although I do not know which era I tore it from, I do know that its rivals served to set the wheels of fate in motion. Well, if you tore it from a portion of if you tore it out from an era, I seriously doubt it could have came before us, because if it came during or before if it happened before Stormblood, the tower more than likely would not be there. At least that would be the assumption, unless it was tore out during the time the Ally collapsed, in which case it came back, but it's always been there. At least the idea is where it's written, it's always been there. So as far as I understand it couldn't be that, so unless he tore it from the future. That's the question. Which if he tore it from the future, that would explain a lot. Because otherwise we would have noticed it gone. Unless it was gone for like 5 seconds. That'd be cool. You've done as requested and learned something of the world in which you find yourself. Now it's time I filled my half of the bargain, explained what has befallen your comrades. As a conversation I'd rather have in the privacy of my quarters, however, I must go on ahead to tower, organize a few things, but as she, God knows to meet you. Tower gate lies open then? Just like that. Big I'll fill up that name. Is there something I should know? Extraordinary tale, but I'm afraid I found no such individual residing in the tower. When it passed into my care, mayhap we revisit that mystery another time. For now, I think it's best that we focus on the present. None of you will know who Grati is, but for me, I do. But knowing how everybody plays this game, either A, you've already seen him in your own playthroughs, B, you watched another video on it, or C, which C is probably the most likely, you bastards probably Googled it. I Googled it. that's just speaking from the experience. That's what I did, because I completely forgot everything. And then whenever I did that, I went, oh, I did do all that already. Greetings, madame. The exile can wait with you within. Oh, God almighty, I love the awning. I find it funny my character's hair is so bouncy.
Welcome to the Ocular, my private study. We can speak here without fear of being overheard. I have much to explain, but the truths which I must touch upon in doing so would cause only distress and confusion to the people of this world. Pray keep that in mind.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Now, I am sure you are desperate to know the fate of your fellow Scions. To put it simply, they are here in the first.
Okay.
Their arrival, however, was not as recent as you may imagine. Here, time flows at a different pace from that of the source.
Oh.
In the space of a single hour in your home world, an entire year might pass in the first, and the reverse could also be true. The pace fluctuates without rhyme or reason, and it cannot be predicted.
I've been here for half an hour.
That said, we seem to be entering a period of near equivalence, and thus, for the moment, you need not overly concern yourself with the passage of time. As for your companions, however, Y'shtola and Eorzean have dwelled here for 3 winters, all told, while Thancred's count stands at 5.
3 winters, that means 3 seasons, so 3 years. Thancred's been here for 5.
Even our more recent arrivals, Alphino and Alize, have lived in the first for almost a year.
Well, that one I find to be a little off, my personal opinion, because we had a pretty big, I think we had a pretty good sized gap between Alphino and Alize, so yeah, that one I'm a little questionable on with her being here a year. I could say maybe 6 months. 4.
My intention had been to summon only you, but the art of reaching across worlds has proven exceedingly difficult to master. Thus it was that my fumbling hand closed upon those to whom your fate is most closely bound as well.
So you screwed everybody else before me?
As they were not the object of my summons, their transference was incomplete. Though they may appear to possess corporeal bodies, they are, in truth, merely spirits that one can see and touch. Consequently, while you yourself will be able to pass between worlds with relative freedom, they will not. Much as it grieves me, they are stranded here, unable to return.
All in my mind I'm thinking about is Thancred probably was pissed, but he was probably alright. Eorzean was probably confused, but then interested and probably a little pissed off. Alphino was probably incredibly embarrassed, but Y'shtola probably wanted to kill this poor bastard, and I'm pretty sure Alize probably killed him almost. What have they been doing all this time? To find a way to send them back. Those two probably wanted to kill him. Especially Alize.
We spent every waking hour searching for a way to reverse the summoning. In the beginning, at least. As you may have surmised, however, our efforts met with little success. And then we all but abandoned the endeavor once Eorzean shared with us the vision he had witnessed during his journey through the rift.
Wait a minute, that doesn't even make any sense. In terms of time, if Thancred's been here for 5 winters, my assumption is that's 5 years, right? At least that's how I would assume, because you would have 4 seasons. So, you were looking for it the whole time, but yet Thancred is here. So what was he doing for 5 years? Eorzean and Y'shtola have been here for 3, and you said Eorzean had a vision. Well, when did he get the vision? When Alize and Alphino also came, or how does that work out?
In that chaotic no man's land between realms, time and space warp and blend in unexpected ways. What Eorzean saw was the future. That which would one day come to pass. In his vision of tomorrow, the first was rejoined with the source.
Sounds like fun.
This collision of worlds brought about the 8th Umbral Calamity and the deaths of countless multitudes.
I mean, in theory, it would have killed everybody on the first. The source probably
amongst those who perished, Eorzean clearly saw the fall of the Scion's mightiest champion. He watched you die.
Crap.
And thus did the Scions embrace their exile, and began searching this world for a means to forestall the coming catastrophe in yours. Their souls are stranded in the first, yes, but they have fought on, desperate to save their home and you from destruction. Nor have their efforts been in vain, for it was they who finally established that the elimination of the Sin Eaters will indeed serve to prevent the calamity. Considering these circumstances of our meeting, you would be forgiven for doubting my version of events. And so, before all else, I would suggest you track down your comrades and hear the tale from their lips. I shall of course be happy to assist in these reunions, and You need not make any decisions regarding your involvement until you are certain of where you stand. Meanwhile, I promise I will not rest until I have found a way to help your friends return home. What say you? Have I earned your trust for the moment, at least?
For want of a better choice, but I'll see that you keep that promise for the moment. I say aye, but I'll keep him to that promise.
Excellent. You will not regret this. With that settled, we shall have to see about getting you ready for the road. Traveling across the rift has no doubt left you weary. I will arrange for a room where you might rest in comfort. While it's being prepared, perhaps I can show you around.
Trying boasts a number of residential districts, but I had been informed that a room just became available at Dependence, which as it turns out is perfect. Our path there will take us past the markets, and I was hoping to give you my own introduction to their wares. Come along. Yeah, I just came to the conclusion of, this is going to be an extended episode. I love it. At least get through this beginning section. That's the goal. That's the dream.
This is the Musica Universalis, the commercial heart of the Crystarium. Aught you might need to prepare for your journeys can be purchased here.
Am I the only person that, if you've watched my channel for a bit, that when you hear the words Musica Universalis, you just think of Europa? I want to play U4. Not really. Actually, I want to play Vicky 2.
Ah, yes. You must be curious about the currency. Fear not. The gil you carry will serve you well enough.
Really?
Each nation once minted its own coins, but was all a jumbled mess following the flood. After much debate, the local merchants eventually elected to revert to the old ways, wherein a coin's value was decided by the worth of its metal. As for a unit of measurement, we agreed upon the term gil, a word borrowed from coins uncovered within the Crystal Tower here. And as our traders peddled their wares across the land, so too did our usage of gil become common practice. From what your stola tells me, a standard coin from the source equates to exactly 1 gil here, or near enough not to matter. Our way of life has benefited greatly from the artifacts we recovered from the tower, some of which may be familiar to you.
Why do they have iPhones? I want an iPhone.
But I fear it would not be practical for us to provide everything to which you are accustomed. You shall need a means to access the commodities of your homeworld. Avan Kerm Sin?
Yes, I'm here. Of course I'm here. What amusements do you have for me today?
My dear Feo Ul, paragon of pixie kind. For you, I have the most vital task. This fine lady is a friend from a distant realm. And we have need of a means to ferry things back and forth from her home. Might you be able to assist us in this matter?
You came from beyond, didn't you? From beyond the rift? How wonderfully exciting. What a brave and reckless and marvelous thing you did. You've the heart of a pixie, you do. After careful consideration, I have decided to grant you my assistance. Make a pact with me and the fun can begin. But answer me this, traveler. Did your garments come with you when you crossed over? Your teeth? Your nails?
I hope so.
Just as I thought! Then you've a good stout connection with your home through which all your belongings, great and small, may easily pass. From this moment forth I will be your Isne Fis, and you my Snay Yak. Like the branch which sprouts from the sapling, our bond will flow unbroken from one to the other. Raise your hand.
Speak de Inglés. I can use it to mess with the Taru. That'd be fun. Scare the crap out of her.
We are bound now, dearest sapling. Come then. Make your request. Tell me your desire. I wish to visit this world of yours.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Mayhap her message to your friends in the Source to inform them of your safe arrival.
Send a message to Tataru, send a message to Cryle. I mean, if I send a message to Tataru, I'll probably scare the ever-living hell out of her. If I send a message to Cryle, I'll probably scare Pharaoh's life. It's really a matter of which one has the higher chances. Yeah, I can mess with Tataru, it'd be funny. Just scare the crap out of her.
Consider it done.
I'm pretty sure if we send her to Cryle, Cryle will scare the crap out of her.
That was Feo Uld of the Pixies. Their kind possess an affinity for magic akin to that of arcane beings. They rarely show themselves in populated areas, but Feo is insatiably curious even by pixie standards, and seems to have taken a liking to the Crystarium. Right, we were going to organize a room for you, weren't we? Come along.
Damn. I could just see Cryle wanting to... See, Cryle will get us back. Taru can't get us back. Besides, she's screwed with our character with that clothing crap, so that's payback. It's a bitch. Son of your pipe farewell, you will now have access to delivering Moogles, market boards, and summoning bells while in the first. Oh, so we couldn't have accessed them without that. Interesting. I totally forgot about that, honestly. I've always had access to all that. And even when I originally came here, the last thing on my mind was the bell and market boards or anything like that. My focus was primarily on just everything else going on in this game. It's like the story. There you are. I was just finalizing matters of accommodation. You'll have a private room here at the Pendants for the duration of your stay to make you use as you see fit. Pray to retire, the manager will show you to your lodgings, pray rest, and recuperate, and we shall reconvene in the Ocular Anon. I believe that covers all the practical concerns. Thank you for answering my call, Eileen. You are denied the comforting blanket of night, but may peaceful dreams attend you nonetheless. Alright, pleasure to meet you, miss, and welcome to our new home at the Pendants. Your room is ready if you want to retire. I do. Damn foot. I would shut that. Hey, Black Spirit. What? Oh, it's our boy. It's Warrior of Darkness.
You're the Warrior of Light from the Source.
You're the Warrior of Darkness. How goes it at first? And who are you? And we're gonna go for the Warrior of Darkness.
What? Did you just... You can hear me?
Yeah, can everybody?
Gods, how long has it been?
Oh my god.
That was what I called myself in your world. The Warrior of Darkness. My real name is Ardbert. I used an alias in the source. A daft one, looking back. If you recall my tale, it was my comrades and I who caused the flood. We thought our home doomed. And so we listened to the Ascians. Let them guide us to the source and try to hasten their God's damned ardor. I remember when we fell, defeated by you and yours. I remember our audience with Minfilia, how she listened to our pleas and returned our souls to the first. The flood was poised to swallow Norvrant. Minfilia and my friends, they surrendered what little they had left to hold it back. Just faded away, leaving me to bear witness.
Jesus.
Tell me, do you know the year? How much time has passed since we caused the flood?
Well, they said about 100 years.
100 years. 100 long years.
Oh my god, you've been... Wait a minute, you haven't been able to talk to a single human being for 100 years because you're in the spirit form. I'd lose it. I don't know if I'd lose my mind, but I'd make fun of people the whole time. I'd lose my mind slightly. Oh wait, he can't grab anything. You couldn't even read. Can't even drink beer.
My hands find no purchase. My gestures catch no eye, and my pleas, be they whispered or screamed, reach not a single ear.
I'm pretty sure you could dub. Everybody sees that.
I am a shade, cursed to do naught but drift. I feel as if I've been walking forever. I hardly noticed when my mind and body began to fray at the edges. Then bang! My senses were sharp again. I felt like a fish being reeled in, and before I knew it, I found myself in this room. Why is it that you can see me? What are you even doing here, come to that?
XR summoning, you know the thing.
You were summoned to save the first. A waste of time. This world is beyond saving, like those who try to save it. Muddled as my mind may be, I've not forgotten that. But if fate has brought me to you, the one person in this God's-forsaken world who can see and hear me, then perhaps there is a reason I endured. If I can find out why I was left behind, then maybe I can bring this journey of mine to an end. Well, I'll be watching, Warrior of Light. But do me a favor. Be careful out there. This world has had its fill of heroes.
Poor bastard. Why does that bed look comfier than mine? And why does it piss me off? Actually, no, my bed is comfier than that. I have low standards if I thought that was. Really low standards. Although I will say I miss that king-size bed I had one time. Oh. Oh, the luxury. Well, you know what? I feel like we've done enough. I'm actually gonna head back in here. This episode has gone on plenty long enough. I have to actually end this now. Main reason being is the last episode, aka when I did the jump cut, is roughly I'm not gonna lie, it was about 10 minutes, give or take. This episode went on longer. This second part took a lot longer than I was planning, actually, even with everything going on. So with that, all I have to do is say is I love the beginning of this. I'm fine with making a extended hour-long episode if it turns out to be, just because I really like Shadowbringers, and this first part I think definitely needs the explanations. It definitely needs the drawn-out episode just to have everything explained. If you cut it short, you might lose track for the next episode. But if I remember right, I think the next bit is we go back to the Ocular, talk to the Crystal Exarch, hopefully find out where our friends are, but more importantly, we now have our first place to actually stay here in the Crystarium, which is actually kind of cool. Because in comparison to the source, they never really give us anywhere to actually, live. All it is are the inns. This is in theory an inn, I guess in the old aspects, but in reality it's actually a sleeping quarters. It's a room available here. So it's kind of cool in its own aspects. As I said, I like how they bring us into this. My only thing I can't think of is I couldn't imagine, like, he brought all our friends here, right? Now imagine if they got spawned out in the goddamn woods with nothing on them, especially clothing. How they really would have killed him. I'm pretty sure she wanted to kill him when she got summoned here. I can only imagine. Alphino, he's probably irritated, but he's like, ooh, cool things. Ryandre, same thing. Thancrets, he'd be pissed. But I'm pretty damn sure Y'shtola. Oh my god, Oriandre, you poor bastard. I wonder if Y'shtola tried to kill the Exarch or tried to kill Oriandre first. Both probably got hit, depending on who was staring. At the same time, I'm assuming Alize wanted to kill him too, probably wanted to throttle him. I do think the aspect of time in this one is kind of a unique thing too. But maybe winters are a little bit different here. Maybe there's only 2 seasons? I don't know. That's the only thing they don't really explain that well, which is, like, my sense of winter is, it's actually snowing outside. 4 seasons, so I would assume a year, but man, unless their sense of time is different here, how a year would work out. Because at least in my opinion, I would make the assumption Thancred's been here for 5 years. Y'shtola and Oriandre's been here for 3 years. Alphino, I would assume, they said both him and Alize have been here for almost a year. But I would come to a closer idea that, well, like Alphino, I would assume been here for almost 9 months to a year. And then Alize, I would assume, is about 6 months to 9 months. At least in how I would judge time. Because it did take us time to get here as well, so that's my aspect of time, but maybe I'm wrong. So with that, all I have to do to say is this, guys. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We come back talking to the Crystal Exarch, and we're going to see the next stage of our journey. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.